The celebrities who have been banned for life from SNL. Since its debut by Lorne Michaels in the late 1970s, the late-night television sketch comic and entertainment program Saturday Night Live has been airing consistently every week, presenting some of the key topics in life and the entertainment industry. SNL has a long history of embracing a broad spectrum of diverse musical artists, performers, and TV personalities to perhaps the most high-profile platform in television. The show's hosted some of the greatest comedians of all time. Our list includes people who have either hosted or appeared as special guests on SNL, but have, in one way or another, found themselves on the blacklist side of the show. It's quite an extensive list and includes many well-known people who have felt Lorne Michaels' infamously severe criticism. Some of the names on the list may have been reinstated at some point, but generally speaking, once you've crossed Michaels, the odds of ever working at Studio 8H drops to absolute zero. With that being said, here are the list of the celebrities who've been banned for life from SNL. Adrien Brody. Actor Adrien Brody first rose to fame in 2002 thanks to a supporting role in Roman Polanski's The Pianist, for which he won an Academy Oscar Award, which will be remembered for all time. This award made Brody the youngest actor to win and get some recognition in his career from the remarkable performance that solidified his status as a bona fide Hollywood actor who rarely makes a wrong choice in film. Brody's TV debut was a clumsy failure. On May 10, 2003, the actor was scheduled to headline Saturday Night Live, but he made the serious error of doing an improvised sketch that was widely seen to be racially insensitive. Brody made things worse during the introduction, appearing with fake dreadlocks and speaking in a fake Jamaican accent in anticipation of the show's planned performance by Sean Paul, a Jamaican reggae musician from Jamaica. You know, yeah, Brody remarks, we set the original nasty Sean Paul here. After that, he says, respect everyone, respect. An aunt of mine, big up, Jamaica, tremendous. Respect my neck, respect my knees, respect everything about me. Respect to the Kingston masses. Everyone's here, so come on in. Wow, Sean Paul's killing it on the dance floor. These fake accents and display of a culture that was not planned forced Brody into the blacklist and a lifetime ban on the show. Martin Lawrence. Lawrence, who has a reputation for acting strangely, was given the hosting gig on the show in 1994 and, per tradition, delivered an opening monologue. However, after days of practice, Lawrence opted to create his own script, resulting in comments that were considered grotesque by several audience members. After a serious discussion of the tale of Lorena Bobbitt chopping off her husband's penis, which contained numerous jokes that already tested the bounds of SNL's stringent rules, Lawrence went into a bizarre rant about the female's private parts and personal cleanliness. Over 200 complaints were filed and numerous SNL sponsors reportedly protested, leading to Martin Lawrence's permanent ban from the program. The resulting tape has since been deleted. Videos of Lawrence's monologue have been shown on various online platforms, however. The program has opted to cut out the comedian's remarks regarding women's cleanliness from future broadcasts. His whole monologue, which starts with, some of you are not cleaning your ass correctly, can be seen online. Even more so, Lawrence continues, I see douche advertisements on TV, and I'm wondering whether any of you are reading the directions. Sorry, but I don't buy it. I mean, I'm smelling things with some of you girls and saying, wait a minute. So, you know, oh, come on, girl, take a whiff on this. The one and only you. Do a quick self-examination and smell yourself, girl. In addition to his already ridiculous remarks, he exclaims, smell yourself, douchebag, in a minute. I'm going to inform a lady, douche. Not all women appreciate honestly, douche. Even after Lawrence says, I'm sorry, y'all, the crowd begins to disperse and things go downhill from there. A good wash routine is a must, and because I'm a man, I also enjoy kissing women passionately and thoroughly all over their bodies. But if you aren't tidy elsewhere, I can't help you. Sinead O'Connor. Many performers and celebrities have been kicked off SNL for various reasons, but none of them has been kicked out for bringing a picture into a set. O'Connor stepped up to the Studio H stage and sang War by Bob Marley a cappella while gazing straight into the lens. Emotional music was chosen to protest the sexual abuse of children by members of the Catholic Church. The initial focus was on racism, but this time it flipped to focus on child sexual abuse. O'Connor began singing the song and then added, "We have trust in good over evil." Towards the same time she sang the word evil, the singer held up a picture of Pope John Paul II to the screen and started ripping it up in a fit of furiosity, tossing the pieces at the camera and declaring, "Fight the true enemy." According to her, the picture had been hanging in her mother's home since 1978. While O'Connor was rehearsing for the skit, she put up a picture of a young refugee, unbeknownst to SNL. NBC's late-night VP, Rick Ludwin, said that he literally leaped out of his chair when he saw the singer's religious protest, prompting a flurry of activity while the staff debated whether or not to cut the stream. O'Connor has spoken openly about her acts in the years thereafter, and the singer has said that Geldof was an inspiration for the scheme. She recalled that when the Boomtown Rats rat trap reached the top spot in England, Bob Geldof ripped up a portrait of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, who had been #1 for several weeks previously. He said to Hot Press, to which I said, "Yeah, fuck, a portrait of the Pope was torn in half, what would happen?" In part of my mind, I thought, Jesus, I'd simply love to see what had happened. It's not the guy, clearly, it's the position and the symbolism of the organization that he represents, she told Time. As a nation, Irish people are exhibiting the worst rates of child mistreatment in all of Europe. This is because the priests have been sexually assaulting and beating the children in the schools for years, and because the Irish people have lost touch with their own past. And so the Irish people have been set as an example. The church has been in charge of them throughout history, even though it was the church that authorized the abuses. Cypress Hill. Back in 1993, Cypress Hill, a legendary California hip-hop band, made news when DJ Muggs smoked marijuana on air. In perspective, Muggs' antics seemed less comical. However, Cypress Hill caused quite a commotion in 1993 when marijuana was still banned in the state. Muggs might have had several reasons for lighting the joint, as Sendog explained to Village Voice afterwards. I recall that Saturday Night Live gave us a green room and said, "Do anything you want in here, just don't light up out of here." With his act, Muggs wanted to make a message. He got the message that he couldn't light up on television for more than just the SNL staff. Everyone from the label to management to friends and family of the band members were involved. According to my intuition, Muggs intended for it to be a statement. And I told him, "I'm not doing that, guy," when he urged me to light up on stage, he claimed. He decided not to smoke before starting the second song. You'll see that I was taken aback by his action. That was very fantastic. People commented during the after-show party, so obviously the audience members thought it was great. Once the hammer dropped and we were permanently kicked off Saturday Night Live, we realized the gravity of the situation. As it turned out, the world wasn't prepared for anything even close to that at the time. I have no idea what would happen if he did it today, but in the early 90s, we were kicked in the ass by Saturday Night Live, and I haven't watched the episode in repeats, so I can only imagine the response he would get. It would have been fun to perform on SNL again, but I don't think we made the best decision for our debut, so we paid the price and went on. Robert Blake. When Blake took over as host in 1982, he wasted no time in verbally assaulting almost everyone on the show. When asked who he thought was the worst host of SNL, David Sheffield recalled Robert Blake. Jason Kroger, a writer-actor, walked into the room where he was seated and gave him a sketch titled Balmy Philosopher. The comedy had a single premise and followed the adventure of a puffed-up professor who also had somewhat of a tough motorcycle man as he discusses Kierkegaard. His students peppered him with questions while he brushed his hair, and he would just respond, "Hey, I don't know." He said Blake sat there too, and I read it, spectacles down his nose, then wadded it up, walked to Schaefer and said, "I pray you have a strong heart, buddy, because you're going to have to wipe your ass with that one," and then flung it, which bounced off Gary's face. The Replacements. You know how, as a child, you'd get so hyped up for a birthday party that you'd eat so much cake and drink so much soda that you'd end up throwing up? The exact same scenario happened to the Replacements on SNL. They'd been trying to break out of the underground for a while, and in the previous year they'd published their first album for a big label and signed with a reputable New York management group named High Noon. At the time, they were cleaning up their image. Guitarist Bob Stinson's drug and mental health problems were getting out of hand, and band tensions were at an all-time high. The Pointer Sisters were supposed to perform, but they had to cancel days before the performance, so the Replacements stepped up as special guest appearance. But after their disastrous performance, SNL director Lorne Michaels would never let them back inside 30 Rock. After playing Kiss Me on the Bus entirely off mic, the band played Bastards of the Young utterly out of tune, with lead singer Paul Westerberg yelling, "Come on, fucker," which, as you would guess, didn't sit well with NBC executives. After a successful off-screen dress rehearsal concert in the early evening, G.E. Smith stated in a 2015 interview with the Archives of American TV that the band members and guest presenter, Harry Dean Stanton, spent the next few hours drinking and apparently using drugs in the changing room. Smith claims that by the time they were scheduled to play on the late-night live show, they were so drunk that Bob Murphy stumbled in the hallway, fell down onto his violin, and shattered it, prompting Smith to hastily lend him one of the extra guitars from the SNL house band. Nearly 3 decades after that disastrous night in 1986, the Replacements made their NBC comeback with an appearance on The Late Show with Jimmy Kimmel in 2014. Louise Lasser. After hosting the last episode of the inaugural season in 1976, Louise Lasser quickly found herself on this list and was soon banned from the program. Lasser, Alan's ex-wife, lost her temper with Michaels despite her beautiful appearance in previous works. Perhaps Lasser's inability to fulfill her responsibilities as a guest host was due to her anger or fear of it. But more likely, she was just overwhelmed by the prospect of performing in front of such a large domestic audience. After locking herself in her dressing room moments before the program was to begin, she never really made it to the front of the camera. Until Lasser consented to come out and perform, the rest of the actors had to take over the parts she was supposed to play. Only one skit involving Lasser and a cast member was ever finished. It included Chevy Chase. Knowing of her difficulties beyond the spotlight makes seeing her much more excruciating.